Why roofers are always asking for more money from insurance companies. In this video, I'm going to make an attempt to explain this complicated topic. If you're the roofer, homeowner, or maybe you work for insurance companies, here's my take. First, we have to start with what Exactimate is. Exactimate is a software that insurance companies usually ask roofers to provide or to use to estimate the damages on a property. It's owned by Exactware. There's a lot of conspiracy theories. Who owns Exactware and Exactimate? Some people say that it's owned by insurance companies and influenced by insurance companies. I would say there's definitely a base for those conspiracy theories, but overall, both roofers and insurance companies have agreed over the years. Majority of the industry does use the same software. So the question is, if we use the same software and we agree that, hey, here's the data, it's pretty much a numbers game. Here's the software, you put the data in, and it's going to give you the exact dollar amount, how much that scope of work should cost. On paper, and in theory, sounds plain and simple. But if it is that simple, why so many disputes between roofers and insurance companies? Insurance companies are the biggest buyers of roofing jobs in the United States. And the numbers that they are paying only grown over the years. So we have rise of storm chasers. More and more people are learning how to work and bill insurance companies for the damages. And as a result, we have even more disputes because insurance companies are financial organizations and they are watching their bottom line. They don't want to pay as much as they're paying. They want to save where they can. So they're tightening their ships and they're trying to make it harder for roofers. So here's how it's happening. So first, it's field adjusters. It's people who work for insurance companies, direct or indirect, independent adjusters or adjusters, employees for insurance companies, come to assess the damage to the property and open that Exactimate and put in the data. Oftentimes, they misqualify or they miss items they should put in the Exactimate. For that reason, initial claims oftentimes not what it should be. I'll give you an example. 2018, we have pretty big hailstorm here in Minneapolis area. My father-in-law owns his house in Champlin, Minnesota. 2-inch hail. He has plenty of damage on his roof, undeniable claims. Not one of those like maybe you have damage, maybe you don't. Of course, he calls me. I'm in a roofing business at the time. Mid adjuster. Adjuster was from Texas. Great guy, nice, big smile on his face, friendly. Writes estimate for $9,000. I open the estimate and I see that there's no ice and water barrier. And just the first item that I always look to understand how much effort he actually adjuster put into the estimate. If they don't do ice and water in a state like Minnesota, where it's required every single roofing job for the past 10, 15 years required to have ice and water. That house that we're looking right now in Champlin actually have ice and water as well. That one item will be at least $1,000. 10% of the claim, right there, one line, right? So I asked him, why didn't you include ice and water? He's like, oh, I was in a hurry, but just add it, send me. Meaning that, Dmitry, can you go to Exactimate, add ice and water, and send me the billing? Well, the challenge with that is, yes, I can do that, but it requires my time now. I have to delegate and hire someone who understands Exactimate and to send it to insurance companies. And also that estimate is like 10 pages. If he missed ice and water, what else did he miss? So of course we work on an estimate and now it's $13,000, $14,000. Why is it $14,000? It's because what initial adjuster missed on his estimate. The big question is why it's missed. And I'm going to come back to that point a little bit later. But first, I want to address very nasty tactic that insurance companies playing in this scenario. I would argue that insurance companies will always find someone to do it for less. And in this case, that adjuster, if he would make it his mission to find someone or recommend to the homeowner to find someone to do it for $9,000, they probably would find someone, because there's always Chuck in the truck who will look at a dollar amount, who will say, well, $9,000 for such a job, I can do it for that. So he knows that he's a short end of the claim. He knows the job should be more, but he also knows that he always can find someone who will do it for less. That's the problem number one, because there are good guys in every industry. There's true professionals, and there's also guys who are not competent, who's not going to stay in business for a long time. But it plays well for insurance companies, because if they save 30-40% on every claim by sending it to cheaper guys, they win big. And insurance companies should not be given advice like, get the 3 estimates, go with the cheaper bidder, someone who will do it for less. Exactimate is Exactimate. Insurance already agreed on the scope of work. We don't see that in any other field. Like, if you get in a car accident and your car is damaged, they're going to take it probably to Abra, and they're going to have also software. I'm not sure if they use Exactimate or something similar, but they agree on the prices even before that. But see, with the vehicles, the liability is completely different, because if the car is getting repaired not to standard and you get in an accident before, insurance companies knows that they're going to be liable for way more money, so they're going to make that right. But with the housing, it's a little bit different. Liability is different. People don't check roofs, don't check siding. People look at the numbers, like big numbers, and they get blind by it. Oh, $9,000 for this. They get excited, hire someone cheaper, and usually regret it later. Now, my third point today is it negligence or fraud on insurance company when they're shorting it? I asked this question last year during the debate between Chad Wilson and Steve Badger. I did not like Steve Badger's answer, because I think it's intentional. I think when insurance companies are writing estimate shorts, they do it on purpose. It's their job to train their adjusters to adjust the claim, not to miss items. And when they miss items, they save their insurance companies money. It's a big conflict of interest, and they should not make it our job not to miss it. But all of that actually created another industry within the roofing industry, and the industry is insurance supplement companies. We actually recommend 2 of them, CSS and Estimate Experts out of Florida. If you go to roofinginsights.com, you will see them listed as a recommended brands by Roofing Insights. But amount of companies we have is unheard of, and they keep popping up. Why? Because when insurance companies are shorting by 30-40%, there's a lot of monies to be made by third parties. We don't need these third parties per se, but someone have to do the work. And when someone has to do the work, someone will figure out the business out of it. So the reason I recommend Estimate Experts and CSS, because I've been talking to them, I've been to their offices, and over the years, I made a lot of friends in that industry, a lot of companies who add real value to roofing companies, because we need their help. We cannot do the work for 30-40% less of what it should be. I could not do my father-in-law house for $9,000 when it should be $14,000. I'm not going to pay out of my pocket for that ice and water. I'm a contractor. It's my job to do what's right, bring it up to code, install good materials. And I want you to really think about what's happening when you don't do that. So let's say you were not careful, or you don't know how Exactimate works, or you don't know how to read estimate, and you're just working with a budget. So if you have $9,000, who's going to pay for ice and water? Where's the money going to come from? Funny enough, insurance companies and roofing contractors operate on very similar profit margins. Insurance companies' profit margins are about 10% from their gross sales. Same for a roofing contractor. So if a roofing contractor does $5 million a year, he will be happy to net $500,000 profit. Now, if you break it down to little jobs, so let's say you have $10,000 job with a $1,000 net profit. If insurance company shortens the claim and not pay for, let's say, ice and water, so now the job is not $10,000, it's $9,000. The question is, who's going to pay for it, and where's the money is going to come from? So if you take $1,000 from the job, can contractor still finish it? Yes. He's still going to bring it up to code. But when we have less money, does it mean that we have to use cheaper accessories, or we have to make less money? Usually it's both. And that's a big, big problem. Actually, it contributes to failure rate of roofing contractors, because we always have homeowners' best interest in mind. Sometimes contractors are desperate to finish the project, go to the next. I cannot tell you how many times I talked to the contractors and seen them taking a job out of desperation, knowing they're not going to make money or break even or make very little profit per job, taking this big liability, in case of something goes wrong, there's a leak, there's something discovered. List goes on and on and on. But it's very common in the roofing industry where insurance companies shorten the claim, contractors get tired of asking for more, of fighting insurance companies, and ends up doing what they can to finish the job just to go to the next job. If that's you, if you're the contractor, please comment below, share your story. If you can relate to it, I want people to read your stories, because if you support my points with the real examples, it'll make this video more believable. Also give it a like so more people will see it. The perception of the public is that contractors make way too much money because we have a lot of monies going through our accounts. Even if you have $5 million a year going through your account, does not make you a millionaire. You might actually make only $100,000 or $200,000 despite the fact that you move the millions, but people don't know that. They look at the amounts of checks and they think that it's enough. I'll give you an example. US Bank Stadium here in Minnesota. Contractor made a mistake when he was estimating, one of the subcontractors, that he was estimating the roofing on the project, and it put him out of business. Mistake was too big. In our business, if you have big house, it sounds like a big check, but if it's 20% short what it should be, it all comes from bottom line, from net profit of the contractor. In my personal experience, after traveling to hundreds of companies and talking to the business owners, reviewing claims with the supplementing companies, average shortage in the country is about 30%. This is how much insurance companies intentionally shorten the claims from what they already agreed and committed when they picked Exactimate to estimate and adjust insurance claims. So they agree to it. It should be the numbers game. We have a software that both parties agreed. Now we just have to agree on what we put in and what it spits out. It's all numbers game. Numbers don't lie. People do. And they also play, as a last point for today, insurance companies playing this very nasty game. It's called leave them starving negotiation technique. So insurance companies knows that contractors desperate, they don't have enough cash flow. If they push back long enough, if they wait 2, 3, 4 months, essentially contractor will agree to do the job for the price that insurance is willing to pay. And it's very nasty because so many contractors do exactly that. Back in the day, I remember 2012, 2013, USSA used to be a great company to work for. And then they make a couple changes. So they hire these consultants, come to their insurance company's offices, and tell them how they can make more money. And the answer is very simple. Remove the communication with the contractor. Switch to emails, 1-800 numbers, because if it's harder to communicate, it drags time. Homeowners are not willing to wait 2, 3, 4 months. They need roofs faster. So insurance companies dragging those claims. You ask for more. If you agree to their estimate now, you get the job now, but you get 30% less. You're not profitable. But if you want to fight us, if you want to ask for more, now you play our game. And this is why you need supplement companies. This is why you need a third party, because they are on top of it. They call and email and follow up and record the phone calls. It's a nasty business to be in. I would not want to be in that business. I would not want to call insurance companies daily and deal with the desk adjusters, but someone have to do it. And that's why we have industry within the industry. That's why we have third parties who are literally collecting monies that insurance companies should pay out in the first place, but now they're pretty much gave birth to this new industry who hires thousands of people doing essentially insurance companies' work. So comment below what you think about this situation. Share your story to support my points from this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.